Email is an important method of communication. There are expectations for email use. As professionals, it is important to remember some basic rules for email, even if you get emails that do not follow the rules. The subject line is a critical component of your message. Put thought into it. It is the first thing the recipient sees and is often used to prioritize messages. Subject lines also help recipients find, sort, and follow conversations. Especially if you are emailing the same person about more than one topic, separate emails with clear, succinct, and accurate subjects are important. If for some reason your email is long or requires immediate action, let the recipient know in the subject line. Remember to keep the subject line as short as possible while including all vital information. Leave out unnecessary words. The standard way to open an email is with the salutation "Dear" and the recipient's name. If you know them, use their first name. If not, use their title and last name. The salutation is followed by a colon or a comma and stands alone on the first line of your email. Always address the recipient by name so they know the email is for them. There are a variety of ways to open an email. The salutation you choose will depend on how well you know the person and how formal the email is intended to be. When you are in doubt, stick to professional greetings. In the body of your email, be brief. Get right to the point. Long messages are more confusing and difficult to read. Information is more likely to be missed, and you are less likely to get the response you need. In general, focus on one subject per message. You can have more than one question about the subject in an email. In this situation, a numbered or bulleted list of questions helps the reader recognize each point that needs to be addressed. If you break your email up into multiple messages, remember to have a clear subject for each message. Concision is important. However, make sure there is enough contextual information for the person to understand your email. Do not assume they know what you are talking about. Avoid expressing emotions in an email. Stick to the facts. Instead, send an email stating that you would like to discuss a specific situation. Then, take the time for a meeting or a phone call to talk about emotions or feelings. The tone and quality of your voice will help you avoid misunderstandings because you can more clearly communicate your message. Remember to use the desk script to express yourself. See the desk script video for more information about how to use it. If there is no other way to communicate other than by email, be very careful what you say and think about your message before sending it. Be very careful about how you present the email. All caps are interpreted by the reader in many cases as shouting. Some people get offended by all caps. Unless for some reason you mean to make a point by shouting at the recipient, do not use them. Instead, you can emphasize text by using asterisks or bold formatting for important words. However, you also want to avoid excessive use of bolding, colors, or graphics in your message. Reserve the use of abbreviations for when you are texting or emailing close friends. Abbreviations can cause misinterpretation or be confusing to the reader. It may cause the receiver to send you an email asking what they mean, or you may simply not get the reply you need. Once you have finished writing your email, it can be hard to know exactly how to sign off. You need to have a closing with a comma on one line followed by your name under it. Select your closing carefully. There are a variety of professional ways to sign off, but there are also informal sign-offs that you want to avoid. If you are not sure what to use, thank you is a safe way to end. Set up a signature that looks professional. Include your name and important identifying information. Depending on your role, you may want to include your mailing address, website, and phone numbers. My personal signature has more contact information than what is shown on this slide. Limiting the length of your signature to 4 to 5 lines that are no wider than 75 characters is generally appropriate. However, in some cases, you may want to include more or less information. The signature should go right below your text in all communications, including replies, so that you can be easily contacted. Put some thought into who you send the email to and where you include their information. Use the to line for the people that the email is directly addressed to. You may need to copy other people that are directly involved in the situation you are discussing to keep them informed. Avoid cluttering inboxes by sending your email to too many people. If you need to protect the privacy of individual emails in a group email, use the BCC line. The BCC line is like the CC line, except that only the recipient will know that they have gotten the email. The person in the BCC line can see everyone else in the to and CC lines. Use BCC for emailing groups of people at the same time that should not have access to all the email addresses involved. For example, I use it for emailing groups of potential participants for a research project that need the same message but should not have access to all of the individual emails that I have sent the message to. Don't use this function to be dishonest by hiding that you have copied someone on a message. Before you send your message, make sure it is clear. To make sure your message is clear, take the time to read it over. Make sure spelling, grammar, and punctuation are correct. If your email service does not have a spell checking function, copy and paste your message from a document in a word processing program. Simple mistakes can change the meaning of your message and lead to misinterpretations. Avoid using too many exclamation marks or placing more than one in a row as shown on this slide. When you finish drafting an email, take the time to consider how the reader will interpret it before sending the message. Remember that emails are not private. Once it is in writing, it can be retrieved, examined, and used for legal and/or appeal processes. Assume that everything you send can be forwarded and seen by others. I should note that as professionals, you need to be careful not to forward messages that should not be forwarded. Remember that your tone can't be heard in an email. Don't use sarcasm in an email. Sometimes people use emoticons to help with communicating tone, but they can also appear unprofessional. A simple smiley face won't diffuse a difficult message. You may want to work on your wording or actually talk to the person to get your point across clearly. Don't use the emoticons. Be courteous. Don't forward chain letters or junk mail, and don't use reply all unless everyone copied in the message needs to read your message. Also, make an effort to answer your email within 24 hours. If you cannot answer the email in full, at least acknowledge that you have received it. If you have a hard time keeping up to the volume of your email, or if you do not check it regularly, it might be a good idea to set up an auto reply to acknowledge that you have gotten incoming emails. Keeping email organized and up to date is important. On that note, remember to also allow adequate time for someone to respond to your email before sending a follow-up email to them. If you know that someone has a busy schedule on certain days of the week, don't expect them to answer you right away. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know how it has helped you and what else you would like to see by commenting below. Don't forget to subscribe to receive updates about new videos and posts.